Hey everyone, my name is Olga and welcome back to my channel, and today we are gonna try a new eyeshadow palette from NATASHA DENONA Eye Sculpt Texture and Tone Palette Soft. If you're interested in dramatic palette, we're gonna try it quite soon. This look is done using this new palette, and actually it's my first look using this palette, so I still have to film 3 extra looks. So probably next week I will publish a review. Back to this beauty. Today you're gonna see swatches, 4 looks with wear test, and of course we are gonna discuss everything. So take a seat and let's go. First look, and today we are gonna do a kind of a base smudge wing, and I want to try pinkish story, and as well I want to try these 2 dark shades from the palette, and I'm gonna use the darkest, this one, it's just simply black, creamy black shade for drawing a wing, and I will blend it using the lightest, slightly lighter shade. Most likely I will use some extra shades as a base today. I'm gonna use these 3. And actually ready, steady, go. But you know what? The palette smells like plastic. Sorry, but that's life. That's life. Let's start from this shade. It's creamy. And I'm gonna use it in the outer corner. And can we? Yes, we can take out the refills. That's nice. Okay, creating a base. On this side, I'm not gonna have any eyeshadow primers. On the other side, I will have. And I will use, starting from the outer part, creamy enough, pigmented enough, adding till the crease, and blending. Actually quite easy to work with. The shade is neutral pink. Fully neutral pink. If needed, you can mix it with the gray shade in case you need something more cool tone. That was easy. Okay, now let's start. Now let's try this shade. I'm gonna use it as a crease one. Its formula is not the same. The shade is not that creamy as the previous one. And applying it in the crease and blending the edges. Quite easy to do. Pigmentation is fine, and if needed it might be layered. Adding the lightest shade, and as well we'll add it in the inner corner. It smells bad. I mean, the palette smells quite bad. Ooh, fine. Applying in the center, what's left moving in all directions, and applying the shade in the inner corner as well. And on the lower lid, adding the shade I used as a crease shade. And as well, let's add a bit of this beauty, but just a little bit. I want to add it kind of near the lash line, in the middle a little bit. And what's left on my brush, applying a bit higher. Time to draw a wing. Starting from the darkest shade, it's creamy. The shade is as well, and actually all of these shades, they are creamy. Starting from the base, ideally I would prefer using gel liner, but okay, today we're testing eyeshadows, so I wanna check out the eyeshadows. Moving the shade a little bit up and creating a small tiny wing. Layering a little bit. Near the lash line, adding dark brown, pushing the shade between the lashes as well. Now I need a small and tiny brush and adding the same black shade near the lash line. Now I want to blend the edges a little bit, and I'm gonna use the shade that is a little bit lighter. And I will blend the edges only right here. and when I add a bit of this one and back to my wing and adding the shade in between. And again, kind of blending the edges. In the waterline, adding light pink Vivienne Sabot shade 6. Final look, and I've added a bit of false lashes. And on my lips, I'm wearing these two products. Both are from L'Oreal. Lip liner in shade 635. Worth it. Medium, by the way, the shade is lovely, but it's a little bit warm tone. And lip lac in shade 600. These two actually, they look lovely together. That's. I like what I have currently on my eyes, but my look looks quite basic, I would say. Quite basic. Today I've tried 6 eyeshadows. I've tried 3 creamy eyeshadows, 2 basic matte eyeshadows, and 1 kind of a metallic shade. First of all, it was quite easy to work with these eyeshadows. They are blendable, you can layer them if needed, and they're not that dusty. If we talk about this formula, it's a little bit more dusty if we compare it to the cream one. The cream one is lovely and it's blendable, and if needed you can layer it. These 3 shades are kind of neutral pink shades. This one, despite the fact that it appears kind of white, it has pink undertone. Talking about these two, black, but I can't tell you that it's the best black I've ever tried. It's not that pigmented if we compare it to some other black shades, but you can layer it and it's quite easy to kind of layer it, to blend it. You can use it for drawing some lines, for drawing wings. This shade is dark brown, and I would say that it's even kind of looks like black, a little bit black with a brown undertone. Yeah, this shade is fine. You can apply it as some extra glitters if needed, or you can layer it and it would appear as a basic metallic. The palette feels okay as it is, and it weighs quite a lot, but the palette smells like plastic. At least for now, at least right now. So of course this palette as it is made in China. I'm talking about the packaging. It's okay, it's expected. Products, eyeshadows are made in Italy. It's okay, but I can easily do kind of a similar look using some other eyeshadows, so I'm not gonna deny it. But it was easy to work with these matte eyeshadows. The only thing that I thought that probably the mid-tone shade would be kind of more brighter, but it doesn't look that bright. But if you layer it, it's gonna look bright enough. Fine. Okay, now I'm gonna show you eye look closely and we'll see each other in a minute. I have my makeup on today around 13 hours, and let's check everything out. On this side, I haven't used an eyeshadow primer. On this side, I've used it. And on this side, eyeshadows decreased a little bit right here. On this side, everything actually is fine, no issues at all. My eyeshadows, honestly, they look great. They didn't fade and they look exactly the same. So no questions for now. Second look, and today we are gonna do a kind of a smudge wing, and I wanna try this color story, and I'm gonna add a bit of this one. So today we're gonna have something slightly warm, and I will use this shade as the main one on the upper lid. So we're gonna have something light, and I will use it in the inner corner as well. Maybe as an extra, again, I will add this shade. This beauty I'm gonna add and I'm gonna use as a crease shade, and or yes, I will use it as a crease shade. This one I will add closer to the outer corner as a base for my wing, and for adding extra definition I'm gonna use these shades. Not sure about the black one, maybe I will add it as an extra, but currently I'm not quite sure about it. Ready, steady, go. And we are gonna start, let's start from this shade. And it's creamy. Grabbing it and gonna apply it closer to the outer corner, right here. And creating a base for my future wing. adding blending. Let's try this one. It's a basic formula from NATASHA DENONA. Adding it as a gray shade and blending. Actually, these two, they look kind of similar. Yes, they have the same undertone. This one looks a little bit lighter than this one, but I mean, nearby they look almost the same. I'm gonna use the lightest shade from this line for blending the edges of it. Now, on the upper lid, adding the lightest shade. I'm gonna start from the center and moving the shade closer to the inner corner. In the inner corner, adding the same shade. Time to add extra definition, and let's start from this shade. At least we will try it. It's warm, of course. Of course, adding it closer to the outer corner and kind of adding a little bit extra and blending it into the previous shade. Adding this one and now adding a little bit less. Still adding near the lash line and closer to the outer corner, of course. And as the darkest shade, I'm gonna use this one. Adding it near the lash line and drawing a base and drawing a wing and blending the shade into previous shades. Let's add something shimmery. We'll add it in the center, applying what's left on my brush and moving in all directions. Adding brown pencil near the lash line and pushing it between the lashes. Drawing an inner line using the same pencil. In the waterline, adding something slightly bronzy. Finished look. And of course, I'm wearing false lashes today and I'm gonna film 4 videos today. Let me tell you what I'm wearing currently on my lips. I used only 2 products, lip liner from Mr. East shade 780 and a lip lacquer from Catrice in shade 10. By the way, this shade is a little bit kind of peachy, a mix of peach and pink. The only thing that it smells not the greatest way. And if you're sensitive, you may not probably like it. Thoughts. My thoughts. First of all, I like what I have currently on my eyes. I would prefer having a bit more sparkles, but it still looks lovely. And today I used 6 new shades and this beauty. This one we've already tried, but still. I used yellow tone and warm tone shades. In my case, these matte shadows with yellow undertone, they look more neutral because I have more yellow olive undertone. So that's why such shades, they look kind of neutral in my case. But if you have more pale skin, these shades, they would look a little bit yellow in your case and even a little bit orange. These shades, of course, they are warm. Of course, it's visible that they are warm. Yes, in case of this look, it's then not that visible, let's be honest, but still on eyelid, it's visible that they are warm tone and that they are orange. Of course, if you mix everything and if you mix that warm shades with something more cool tone, as a result, your final look would look more neutral. That's expected. Talking about the quality, I don't really have any questions. It was easy to work with these eyeshadows. It was easy to blend them. I like this creamy formula. It's not the same as it used to be, I would say, 2 or 3 years ago. Now it's better. Now it's more creamy and it's easier to work with it. And you shouldn't have hard pans at the end because sometimes it was the case. I like this palette actually. For some daily looks, I think that it's just way too good, way too gorgeous, and we have different undertones. That's lovely. The only thing that these 2 shades, when you apply them side by side, if you kind of apply them nearby, they look quite similar, quite similar. And in my case, I could barely see the difference. Of course, probably if I used a bit more of this one, yes, it could have been visible, but not really. Not today, at least not today. Yeah, guys, actually I'm happy what I have currently on my eyes, and it was quite easy to work with this eyeshadow palette. Okay, now I'm gonna show you eye look closely, and we will see each other in the evening. I have my makeup on today around 11 hours, and actually a little bit more. And let's check everything out. On this side, I used an eyeshadow primer. On this side, I haven't used anything. And eyeshadows, they creased a little bit, but just a little bit right here. And I would say that it's nothing, almost nothing on this side. Actually, it looks more or less the same as here. So that's okay. My eyeshadows are still quite bright, and all products, all shades, they look great. I don't have actually any questions. Talking about the shimmer, this metallic shade, unfortunately, I still think that it's dry. And actually, when you apply it, some pieces, they can fall off just because you try to grab way too much. And some pieces, they fall off kind of while being applied, actually. Other than that, everything's fine. Third look, and I want to do smoky eyes because I want to try this shade, and we haven't tried it yet. And I will apply it on my upper lid, and I will use peachy shades for blending this beauty. And actually, as a base, I will use this warm shade. Actually, the shade is lovely. It doesn't look that orange. It's just simply dark, warm brown. And let's actually start from this particular shade. So we're gonna create a base using this beauty. And talking about this peachy shade, this shade is kind of mid-tone beige with peach undertone. Actually, the shade is stunning and lovely. But you know what? These two, they look quite similar. That's fine. That's okay. Starting from the base, I have a bit of a powder on my eyelid. So applying carefully till the crease. And even a little bit more. And of course, adding it closer to the outer corner. Changing the brush and applying the shade in the outer part. Right here, carefully. I want to have slightly lifted look today. And as well applying on the lower lid. Now let's try something peachy. Let's start from this shade. Actually, we can use this one with these two shades. Okay, anyway, we'll use it for blending the edges, at least a little bit, right here. Because what? We shouldn't have any harsh lines. Oh, interesting shade. Looks more peachy on eyelid. Then in the pan, blending the edges carefully and mixing these two shades together. Blending carefully right here because I have an issue, a skin issue. I don't have skin right here. Don't ask me why. I don't have a single clue. Now let's add something else. Let's add this shade. I'm gonna use it for blending the edges again. This one looks more even pinkish. Blending carefully the edges here, a little bit too much, taking off extra. Moving the shade up. Now in the center, adding this beauty. It's dark brown. Metallic shade might be used as a transition shade actually. But we are gonna try it as a main one. And fun fact, it's a little bit cool tone. Interesting. And don't forget to blend the edges because this shade has a visible base. It's dark and it's brown, of course. Let's have some fun and let's try this beauty, and I will try to add it in the inner corner. Maybe it's not the greatest idea, I don't know, but we will try. Oh, funny. It's more peachy if we compare it to the shade I used here. This one contains more pink, this one contains more peach. Oh, that I will keep it. It looks funny. Adding a little bit more. And here is a transition shade. I will use the one, no, this one. Let's try to add this one, at least a little bit. I will try. If it doesn't work, I will add a different shade. We need one more shade, okay. Adding a little bit more, and gonna use the shade I used in the crease for blending everything together here. So it's kind of an extra transition shade because it contains a bit of peach, and at the same time it's a little bit beige and brown. And as well using it for blending the edges right here. Today I won't wear false lashes. I'll just simply use a mascara. Using gel pencil from Bernage in shade Black, applying it near the lash line. Oh, sorry, I have something in my eye. Oh, that hurts. Okay, pushing the shade between the lashes and as well applying it near the lash line. I will add it in the waterline as well, right here. Blending the edges immediately. And blending the shade into the previous one. I'm gonna do exactly the same. Please never keep black liners or any dark liners like this, because otherwise your eyes, they will appear smaller. Always blend the edges and kind of take the shade you used in a waterline a little bit out and blend it. And applying a mascara using the one from Bobbi Brown, and today I'm gonna use quite a lot. Finished look, and currently I'm wearing on my lips these two products, Catrice Kiss and Glow shade 2 and a lip gloss from Fenty Beauty shade Fussy, and as well I've added a bit more of these two guys, Catrice shade 10. Not quite sure whether I like this product or no. On camera it looks quite lovely. In person it emphasizes, especially just when this product is just applied, it emphasizes skin texture quite badly, so don't forget to take off extra. And now I disagree that this product looks the same as Fenty Beauty. Fenty Beauty emphasizes skin texture less and it's thinner. And as well I applied this beauty from Eveline shade 2. This bronzer is stunning, the texture is stunning. Talking about the shades I tried today, they are lovely. They are quite lovely. First of all, it was quite easy. It was quite easy to work with these eyeshadows, and they are blendable. They work perfectly together. You can easily blend them together. And for instance, when I did my second eyes, it took me around 6 minutes to do this look. So actually, it's a nice result. We still haven't tried two shades, two cool tone shades, and we are gonna try them next time. Of course, we will try some other shades as an extra. Okay, now I'm gonna show you eye look closely, and we will see each other in the evening. I have my makeup on today, almost 12 hours, and it's time to check everything out. On this side, I've used an eyeshadow primer. On this side, I haven't used anything, and actually eyeshadows, they creased. Right here, they creased. It doesn't look that bad, but still, that's the case. Talking about matte eyeshadows, they look lovely, and I don't have any questions. Right here, everything looks perfectly, and nothing creased, actually. And today I don't have any fallouts right here, so actually looks quite fine. Final look, and it's time to try these two cool tone shades. Don't pay attention to my highlighter, it looks weird, I know. It seems that it's kind of dry. That's life. It may happen. Okay, let's try our beauties, and let's start from this cool tone shade with a bit of kind of brown, a mix of gray and brown. And now what I'm gonna do actually, okay, I'm gonna add something closer, darker, closer to the inner corners and to the outer corners. And in the middle, I've applied something light. That's the plan. Starting from the outer corner, not sure. Maybe I will draw wings, but currently I'm not sure about it. Oh, beautiful shade, might be used as a crease shade if you have cool undertone. You're gonna like it. Definitely you're gonna like it. And it reminds me of a shade that Natasha Denona has already. As a part of Glam palette. It looks kind of similar, I would say. And as well, adding the shade closer to the inner corner right here. It's gonna be our base. And let's try this shade. And I'm gonna use this beauty for blending the edges, as the shade is, yes, it's a little bit peachy, but it contains a bit of beige. So I wanna just blend the edges a little bit. Adding the shade to the lower lid, at least a bit, and closer to the inner corner as well. Let's add a bit more definition, and let's try this beauty. Adding again a bit closer to the outer corner, and blending the shade into the previous one. Oh, quite interesting shade as well. Adding in the inner corner as well. Doing exactly the same thing on the lower lid. Adding in the outer corner a little bit and closer to the inner corner a little bit. Let's add this beauty in the center, starting directly from the center, what's left on my brush, applying and moving in different directions. And now in the center, applying the shimmer right here. Near the lash line and in the waterline, adding black. And I wanna draw a wing, or I don't. No, I'm not gonna draw a wing. I will just simply add a bit of black here. And we'll blend it a little bit. And maybe we'll use black from the palette. Back to the eyeshadows and grabbing the black one. And I will draw a kind of a wing, but I will blend it. And I want to add a bit of something light right here under the pupil, using an eyeliner from Kika Milana shade 1 and blending. Finished look. And I'm wearing false lashes and these two products, Mista's shade 780 and a lipstick from Yves Rocher shade 111. Quite interesting shade, by the way. And eye makeup looks quite lovely and I like it. And if you like wearing more cool tone shades, I think that these two guys are definitely yours. I mean, these two shades. They are way too cool tone. Way too cool tone, but they may work perfectly for some daily looks. And in my case, they look more gray. If you have more pale, cool tone skin, they would appear kind of more brown in your case and they wouldn't look that gray. Of course, it depends on the skin tone and as well on skin undertone. I like what I have currently on my eyes and I like this palette. It's easy. It's easy to work with these eyeshadows, it's easy to blend them, and it's quite easy to draw some lines using these creamy eyeshadows. They are blendable, they are creamy enough, they are pigmented enough, and that's great. If you need a basic palette, I think that this beauty may work perfectly. Now I'm gonna show you I look closely and we will see each other in the evening. I have my makeup on today around 9 hours and let's check everything out. On this side I haven't used an eyeshadow primer. On this side I've used an eyeshadow primer and actually here I had an issue with my eye pencil. Yeah, here I have a bit of it. Looks Not the greatest way, but that's life. Okay, here looks great. Here, no questions at all. Any shadows, they did increase right here on this side. Honestly, I don't have any questions. They look as bright as they were, and they look perfectly, no issues. And this shimmer, it's still in place. It looks beautiful. Perfect. Time to talk. And of course, we're gonna start our discussion from some basic information. The new eyeshadow palettes from Natasha Denona are made in Italy, actually, as usual. These palettes, one single palette costs around 90 to 93 euro. I've seen, I don't remember where, that, I think that it was Call Beauty, and on Call Beauty, it costs around 91 euro. And don't forget that you can always find these eyeshadow palettes on sales. I took them on sales and I paid for a single palette around 64 euro. It was a great deal. It was definitely a great deal. In total, we don't really have that much product here. We have 19 grams. And that's why I have a question. What's wrong? What's wrong? Because this eyeshadow palette costs 92 euro and we have 19 grams. These eyeshadow palettes, they cost 73 euro. And in average, we have around 19 grams. For instance, I need a warm palette. We have 18 grams. A golden palette, we have almost 19 grams, 18.9. A retro palette, we have 19.25. Bloom palette, we have 17.75. I need a nude palette, we have 16.7. A less amount of product, but that's okay. May work like this. Talking about the glam palette, we have 19.25. So in average, we have around 18.5 or something, or around 19 grams. But these palettes, with quite many metallic shades, they cost 73 euro. These new palettes, they cost 92 euro. And honestly, when I noticed it, I was like, come on. It means that, we all know that prices are getting higher, but it's like, it's not really that fair, let's be honest. And when these palettes were released and when I saw them, I thought that we would have more product. And I thought that these palettes would be bigger, but they are not that big. Look at them side by side. I honestly, I don't really think that it's fair enough, and it doesn't sound that nicely. Still, eyeshadows quality, I don't have any questions. Of course, we're going to discuss all this stuff, but I just want to finish this chapter, I would say. This palette looks quite small, and it means that one single refill weighs definitely less if we compare it to this one, for instance, to this palette. Here we have in total 18 eyeshadows. Here we have in total 15, if I'm not mistaken. Let me quickly check it out. Yeah, we have 15. So yeah, we have a bit more shades here, but we have definitely less product inside. What I do like about these new palettes is that we have a kind of a paper inside, and you can easily find some inspiration here. You can easily find out which colors you can use where. For instance, darker shade you can use in outer corners or near lash lines. Lighter shades you can use near inner corners, near brow bones, on eyelids, and so on. And what I do like about these new palettes is that all shades are grouped based on undertones. That's crucial sometimes, and that's great. And if, for instance, you're a pale girl, and if you don't like wearing warm tone shades, you definitely can understand that this line is not for you because it's fully warm tone. This line may work for you because it's quite light, but still you would know that here we have only peach warm shades, and I think that it's great and it's a nice idea having something like this as a part of a even in the packaging. Same thing here if we talk about this dramatic palette. Yeah, but I was really disappointed when I noticed that we don't really have that much product here inside. Now let's discuss quality and let's discuss the shades. We're gonna start, of course, from the quality point of view, and we don't have any new formulas here. We have basic classical formulas from NATASHA Denona here. We have two well-known matte formulas here, matte textures, I would say, and I would say that I was impressed and I was surprised that all matte creamy eyeshadows are just simply great. Because sometimes if we talk about this creamy formula, it might be not the greatest, and sometimes it's quite hard to apply it and to blend these creamy eyeshadows. You can use this texture, these eyeshadows, for drawing some wings, for applying them near lash lines, but sometimes it's quite hard to blend them. Here everything is perfect, and as soon as you use these creamy eyeshadows, you don't have any hard pans, because it was the case. And if we talk about retro palette, here we have a similar shade that is called Rebellion and actually Go. Well, it's more about Rebellion. This one, it feels a little bit hard and it's not that easy to grab this shade with a brush and to apply the shade. And this one, for instance, that is called Vivienne, it's a little bit dusty. If we compare it, despite the fact that it's creamy, it was a little bit dusty. And here, everything is perfect. Everything is just simply perfect. It's quite easy to work with these creamy eyeshadows. They don't stuck. You can easily blend them. If you need, you can easily draw some lines. It's doable, that's great. And if needed, you can layer these matte eyeshadows. I'm so happy. I'm so happy about it because this formula is way too good. It doesn't emphasize skin texture. And I'm happy that it's easy. It was easy to work with these creamy eyeshadows, and I didn't have any issues and I didn't have any problems. But take into account that as these matte eyeshadows are way too creamy, they can crease a little bit. Yeah, it is a drawback, but I mean, you should know about it, you should take it into account. They don't crease badly, but it might be the case in case you have more oily or extremely oily skin or deep eyes, hooded eyes. I have slightly deep eyes. In my case, eyeshadows, they normally crease, all metallics, they crease, especially if they are creamy. So I know about it, and it might be the case here, but it shouldn't be that bad. Like talking about this basic formula from NATASHA Denona, it's the basic formula from NATASHA Denona. It's quite pigmented, it's easy to work with these eyeshadows, they are blendable enough, but they have a drawback. They are a little bit dusty, unfortunately, especially if you're used to work with brushes that are made of gold bristles. You may have some issues, but it's not that bad, I would say, simultaneously. A small tip for you, grab a little bit, take off extra, and you shouldn't have any fallouts in this case. Or as an option, grab a little bit, take off extra, and then use and apply. And in this case, again, you shouldn't have any fallout. Other than that, these matte eyeshadows are quite lovely. But I just recalled one thing, and it's related to this shade. I think that it was my first look. I think so. And I thought that the shade is not really that pigmented. And actually, I would say that I probably expected, and I thought for some reasons that the shade would look darker. But actually, it's a mid-tone shade, so that's expected. And don't forget that you can easily layer these matte eyeshadows, and yes, they are buildable. And one more interesting, not really interesting thing, some shades, they can stack a little bit. And and it's mainly related to the darker shades. And I think that I had the small issue with the black one and with this W2, but it wasn't that bad, but still you should take it into account. Just take it into account that these two shades, they can stack a little bit. Talking about metallic shades, we actually have only 3 shades, and I would say that we have slightly different textures here. This shade you can use as a kind of a topper. It doesn't really have a visible base. If you try to layer this shade, it might be way too dry. Yes, and some pieces they can easily fall off, and while wearing these small pieces, they can fall off if you apply a lot. If you apply just a little bit, it's okay, no issues. Talking about this shade, it's a classical metallic shade from NATASHA DENONA. It's creamy enough, you can use it as a transition shade, it looks quite great. This shade, it's, I don't know, it seems to me that it's a little bit kind of new, at least I couldn't recall something similar. It feels and it looks at some point like creamy matte shade, but at the same time it contains a bit of shimmers. I would say that it looks a little bit satin at some point, but at the same time it's slightly metallic. So let's call it satin because it's more close to satin, and this texture is quite lovely. You can use it. You can use this shade for blending the black one, for instance, and it's gonna be doable. And as this shade is a little bit kind of satin, it looks wonderful on eyelids and it looks quite lovely. But yes, the shade, as the shade is quite dark, it has a visible base and actually it's almost black. You should use it for either, I don't know, drawing some wings, some lines, or for, you can use it as a transition shade, or you can use it near the black one as an option, and or you can use it for blending the black one. It may work as well. Now let's discuss color story. This shade should work nicely in case you have pale skin, light skin, and may work in case of medium skin tones. If we talk about dark skin tones or darker skin tones, it's definitely no, because this palette is way too light. Of course, you can use half shades, but I don't really think that you're gonna use all shades. If we talk about basic classical daily looks, of course, still, even in case of dark skin tone, you can wear this palette and you can do some interesting and nice looks, but of course it depends. Here we have different undertones, and I would say that this palette is quite neutral because we have not only neutral and cool tone shades here, but at the same time we have some warm tone shades here, and I think that it's great. And I think that this idea, as I've already told you, is quite lovely. So this line is neutral cool, this one is peach warm, this one is neutral cool, but I would say that actually it's more cool tone because these two shades, they are definitely quite cool tone and they contain quite a lot of gray. And if you have pale skin, light skin, cool undertone, these two guys, they're just simply perfect for you. This beauty is yellow golden, and actually this line works perfectly in my case because I have kind of yellow olive undertone with a bit of something orange, but with just a little bit. This beauty is peach warm, beautiful color story, and these peachy shades, they don't look orange, they look peachy. If we compare, for instance, this beautiful shade, and you're gonna see some swatches quite soon, this one, it looks even a little bit kind of pink peach. Beautiful, lovely shade. I'm gonna describe you all the shades quite soon. These beauties, they are called rosy pink, but I would say that they look more neutral pink. And they are also quite lovely. For instance, if you have a light skin, pale skin, cool undertone, you can easily wear these two lines, this line and this line. Of course, most likely you will avoid these two lines, especially this line, because this line is way too warm. It's like quite orange, but this shade, it looks, well, in my case, it looks more neutral. But yeah, in case of pale skin, light skin, cool undertone, it may appear a little bit orange, but I think that you still can use it, or you can, for instance, mix it with this shade, and as a result, you're gonna have something neutral. If you have more warm undertone, no worries, you can use this line, and this line. And of course, you can easily use this line as well because it's quite neutral. And if you want, of course, if you want, you can easily wear cool tone shades as well. It's just up to you to decide. And that's why I think that this palette is quite unique and quite great, because we have everything. We just simply have everything. And if you're a makeup artist, I think that this palette is way too good. You have all required undertones, but yes, we don't have olive undertones here. I wish we had one more line here with olive undertones. But okay, anyway, as an extra, you can buy an eyeshadow palette with olive undertones, and you can mix some shades together and it may work. This palette is great, and it may work perfectly in case of some daily looks. But of course, we don't really have that many shimmery shades here, and ideally you should have something extra. And now let's quickly discuss all shades in details. Starting from this line, as a reminder, is fully neutral. This shade is white with light pink undertone. This beauty, neutral pink. Mid-tone, neutral pink. This beauty, it appears in the pan that it looks more neutral, but honestly, in some cases, it may appear even a little bit kind of cool tone. I would say dark, neutral, cool tone pink. It doesn't contain purple. No, it looks more neutral, but at the same time, it seems to me that it contains a bit of something gray. This shade is stunning because it's a mix of peach with pink. And actually, we have quite much pink here. This shade is also quite unique, and it's a mix of beige, mid-tone beige, with peach. You can easily combine it with these two lines. Looks great. This one is kind of a little bit darker than mid-tone peach, and it's a mix of pink and peach. And if we compare these two shades, here we have more peach, here we have more pink. This beauty is light yellow. It looks quite okay, might be used in the inner corner. And for instance, if we compare this shade to this palette, here we also have kind of a light yellow shade, but this one looks more yellow, definitely more yellow than this shade. This one is lighter, and this one I would say that it looks more like a mid-tone shade. Mid-tone brown with yellow undertone. Dark brown with yellow undertone. Of course, it's not that dark as these shades, but still it's not that mid-tone anymore. This beauty, it's a mix of champagne, cool tone champagne with a bit of silver glitters, but with just a little bit. This one, it's a mix of beige and gray. Contains quite a lot of gray. And if you compare these shades to a well-known palette from, of course, NATASHA DENONA Glam palette, we have something similar here. You're gonna see swatches quite soon. This shade looks even more gray than the one that we have in the other palette. This one, a mix of brown with gray. Quite dark shade. This beauty, orange, kind of orange. A mix of brown with orange. Contains quite much orange, and this shade, depending on the skin tone, in case of very pale skin, would appear just simply orange. This shade looks quite orange as well, but it contains more redness, and it looks definitely darker than this one. This beauty, dark brown with orange undertone. So yes, it's quite warm. This shade is dark brown, and it's just simply neutral. It contains a bit of gray, and at the same time there is something warm here. So this shade is lovely and quite neutral. This beauty, almost black. Dark brown, very dark brown with black. Just simply black. Quite a lovely shade. And this palette, here we also have a black shade, but here we have a black one in a different formula. And I would say that this black is darker than this one. This one, at some point, it looks like dark gray. It's still black, it still doesn't look gray, but it's not that pigmented and it's not that dark as it could be. And here the black shade is just simply more pigmented and it looks darker. Now let's do some swatches and let's compare this eyeshadow palette to some other eyeshadow palettes from NATASHA DENONA. And let's probably start from Glam palette. And here we have a beautiful shade, this Beauty. And if you have cool undertone, you definitely know this shade. And this shade looks way too similar to this shade from this new palette, but they are not fully identical. Here we have kind of more brown, while here we have more gray. And as an option, yeah, you can use one or the other. Depending, of course, it depends on your preferences, but if you do a look, these two, they may look quite the same. Let's be honest. Talking about Bloom palette from NATASHA DENONA, we have quite many peachy shades here, and I tried to compare this palette to this line, and honestly, they don't really look that the same, and this palette looks more orange, and these peachy shades, they look more orange, while here, these peachy shades, they look more, I would say, kind of pink. So if you have more cool undertone, I think that these peachy shades, they would work way better in your case. If you have warmer undertones, this palette actually is quite lovely, but yeah, we have quite, it's warm. It's just simply warm. Talking about I Need a Nude palette, honestly, I thought that at the beginning, I thought that we have some similar shades, but they are not fully the same. Yeah, some shades, they like, there is something, there is a little bit, but not fully. So actually these two palettes, they don't have the same shades, but yeah, talking about undertones, they have some similar shades. And actually this palette is just one of the greatest palette if you're a makeup artist, and it's just way too neutral, and I like this palette. It's the greatest, I think. And as well, I thought a little bit about Retro palette because here we have pink shades, but again, they are not fully the same. We don't have any exact matches here, but you know what, maybe these two. Oh, you know what? Fun fact. For instance, this matte shade, it feels more creamy as this, guys. So actually, these matte eyeshadows, I think that they are a little bit drier if we compare them to basic eyeshadows from NATASHA DENONA. They are not fully the same as in other palettes. Golden palette, and here we have quite many brown shades with yellow and orange undertones, and I thought actually about these three shades when I used this shade, and actually this line, it reminds me of this palette from NATASHA DENONA, but still shades, they don't look fully identical. Yep, might be quite close, but not fully identical. And same thing if we talk about Warm palette. I still couldn't find any exact shades, but yeah, there are some shades that they look quite similar to these shades, to this line. If you want to save and if you need a neutral eyeshadow palette, Beauty Bay. I don't even know how many times I showed this palette to you, but I still think that it's one of the greatest budget-friendly eyeshadow palette. I mean, of course, we don't really have exactly the same shades here, but we have some pink tone shades here, some peachy shades here, we have some cool tone shades here. So we have actually plus minus everything here. And if you want to save a little bit, I still think that it's an option. It's a nice option to try, and you can always take this palette on sales. And here my eyeshadows are quite creamy, and fun fact, if we compare my eyeshadows from this palette, from Beauty Bay, to this formula from NATASHA DENONA, I would say that my eyeshadows here a little bit better. A little bit better because they are more kind of creamy. So guys, do I really like this palette? Yes, I do. Will I use it? Yes, I will. But is it like the greatest palette I've ever tried? It's a little bit questionable because some shades are a little bit questionable, but I like the idea. I like that we have different undertones here, and unfortunately I don't have this palette from NATASHA DENONA, and at some point this palette reminds me of this one, but I never had it, so that, and of course I don't really have it, so that's why I can't tell you whether these two are similar enough or close enough or no. But I still think that this palette is quite lovely, especially if you need a basic palette and if you have quite many different shimmers and glitters. You actually have almost everything here. So guys, let me know down below what you think about this new palette from NATASHA DENONA. Do you like it or no? And are you gonna buy it or no? I hope you enjoyed this video, and if yes, don't forget to put a thumbs up and of course consider subscribing. I wish you a pleasant day and I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye bye!